Good day everyone, and let's get right into this one. I promise this one's going to be a fun one. For the first time, this video isn't about anime. Well, it is, but not really. Today, we're going to learn about the different types of weebs. To make it simpler to understand, we will use what I like to call a weeb meter. It works as follows. Depending on the level of intensity, every type of weeb will get a grade starting from 1 to 10. And for those who don't know what a weeb is someone who has a more than usual interest in Japanese culture and anime. Some of them become so intensely attached to that culture that it changes them and the way they see themselves. Today, we'll go over 4 different kinds of weebs. These are, in my opinion, the most known ones to the general public and the ones you have the more chances of coming across in your daily life. Alright, with that said, let's get right into it. Our first contestant is what I like to call the gamer weeb. You might be thinking of someone who loves anime and enjoy playing video games also, but that's not quite right. This weeb is also known as the visual novel weeb. Yes, that guy. Growing up, I had a friend called Andrew who spent literally hundreds of hours playing visual novels, always thinking that it's like gaming and watching anime at the same time. We kept repeating that it's barely a video game, but he just won't understand. You can flame me all you want, but you know deep down that this is nowhere near a video game. Andrew has been my personal plug for new mangas to read since 2013. Thank you, Gamer Weeb. His score on the meter is a solid 6 out of 10. Thankfully, this weeb is the easiest to deal with. They don't bother anyone outside of their constant recommendation for visual novels to play, to read, and they usually have a solid experience with reading mangas, which almost always leads to great niche content. Now, for our second type of weeb, we have the chameleon weeb. Oh boy, do I find this one interesting, and it's my personal favorite. I would like to use my closest friend growing up to present this contestant. We'll call him Boris. Boris to us, and probably to you after hearing what's coming, was a social magician. The chameleon weeb, like the name would suggest, is a person who can fit in any, and I mean any, social circle in high school with perfect ease, but is deep down the most fanatic anime watcher that the world can have. Boris would in the same day make Boku no Pico jokes to us and talk about his upcoming game as the captain of the school soccer team. This guy had it with everyone, the teachers, the cool guys, the popular girls, and us. But outside of school, when everything was calm and he was alone, his inner weeb would come out. The man had a calendar with alarms for every weekly release, and I'm not talking about the few he liked, I'm talking about the whole season release plus the ongoing popular animes. He would also attend conventions during the year and cosplay as his favorite characters. He had an insane physical collection of mangas at his place and a drawer filled with cosplay accessories. Not only that, but this guy was a moderator on an anime forum website. He was a mod. I still can't believe it to this day. To sum it all up, the chameleon weeb is the guy you see being cool with everyone at school, never thinking he could understand what you feel when you watch an anime. But deep down, he actually does, even more than you could possibly think. For this, he secures a solid 7 out of 10. A little side note here, the chameleon weeb is to me the best kind there is. Boris was a bridge between the real world and us back then. He helped us feel comfortable through our years of high school. I hope you all have that one chameleon weeb in your group of friends, or that you are the chameleon weeb to someone. Now, for our second before last, comes the one we all know, the I'm basically Japanese weeb. This one is pretty self-explanatory, but to further explain this category of weebs, I'd like you guys to meet Hassan. Hassan is a childhood friend of mine, and Hassan is very much delusional. Living his life through animes for so long kind of messed up with his head. He speaks Japanese but only using popular catchphrases from anime. He swears that he is perfectly fluent in Japanese, but let's not kid ourselves. We all know that "omae wa mou shindeiru" has never been used in a casual conversation, unless you're a crazy murderer, which he isn't. The classic I'm basically Japanese weeb also knows everything there is about Japan. Hassan, for example, will always compare things from where we live, like the subway, the mall, or the schools, to Japan. He would often bore us with things like, "Did you know that we don't have any janitors in school in my home country? We clean our classroom as a group and work together to be better citizens in the future." Or stuff like, "Ramen is perfectly balanced food. It's like the best diet in the world." Other things the I'm basically Japanese weeb likes to do is translate general conversation words to Japanese for no reason. Instead of saying hello, for example, he would always say "Ohayo gozaimasu." Before eating, he would scream "Itadakimasu." And instead of saying thank you, he would say "Arigato." And please, don't go thinking that he does this only with his interaction with us, because he doesn't. This category of weebs can be summarized in one word: delusion. And with all this, the I'm basically Japanese weeb secures a score of 8 out of 10. Alright, now for the grand finale, the cherry on the cake, the pièce de résistance of this list, our final contestant, the Unhinged Weeb. This one is going to be a great one. I would like you guys to meet Yang. the unhinged lunatic that we grew up with. Yang was the cornerstone of our group of friends. He is the most legendary weeb. He is the one we keep hearing stories about 5, 10, 15 years later. He is the one who marked a whole generation by how intensely he went through his high school years. People know him as the kid who keeps running around like Naruto, or that kid that pops a vessel on windy days trying to charge his energy. Or my favorite one, that kid who constantly screams, "Nani?" I know you have all met someone like this, from close or far. This weeaboo cannot be stopped. He is untouchable. He can't even get bullied. I'm talking superpowers here. Yang is not a fan of anime. Yang is like an anime. He doesn't separate the two. To him, there are no barriers between what pops in his head when he watches anime and how he interacts with people. I remember Yang getting in a fight in school and screaming "Ora ora 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 ora" while throwing a barrage of punches. He lost the fight because he was laughing so much at his ora ora joke when fighting that he couldn't even breathe anymore. The unhinged weeb is like nothing else. This category of weebs is like the secret, very rare bloodline of weeaboos. With all this, his score on the weeb meter is a solid infinity out of 10. Believe me, there is no other category on this earth that could surpass the unhinged weeaboo. But I have to say, this category is very entertaining. If you have a Yang in your life growing up, you will never be disappointed. Alright kids, that is it for today's class. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Keep your head high and I'll see you on the next one.